Today I'll be continuing What If Naruto Had the Powers of Eren from Attack on Titan. And without further ado, let's get right into the video. So we open this part with Naruto getting some detail on, some more of the Titan shifters, the ones with the bounties on their head. And then Itachi kind of like, he brings up the one that, everyone is kind of afraid of, but not really, because this one doesn't have a bounty on her head, but she was too dangerous to put a bounty on her head. Her bounty was too high. Too many people were going to her, trying to kill her. It was just a whole situation. So they basically canceled the bounty on her head. And as like they're explaining this to Naruto was like, so where do I find her? Like, what's going on? And like Jiraiya basically gives Naruto like this little map, and he's like, that's where, like, those are her patrolling routes. She patrols relatively close to the Akatsuki's village border, so that's how we basically figured out where the Akatsuki lived, or where they were based. And Naruto looks and he sees one of the points is further than all the rest. Like, legit, this point, it would take her a few days to get from where the Akatsuki village was to that point and then back. So Naruto was like, why don't we just set up a little ambush just along this? And he points at the map, and he sees like a little road thing. He's like, that's not a half bad idea, Naruto. But the problem is that we don't, we can't just we can't react to this because we don't know if, you're actually strong enough. And when Jiraiya says this, Naruto's somewhat like eager look for this fight turns into like the sourness, and he's like, what do you mean not strong enough? Like, haven't I proven myself enough? I haven't seen a Titan that can match my strength. Hell, you saw what I did to the other guy. And like Jiraiya tells him, like, Naruto, we get the purpose of you trying to help and trying to get rid of the big bads now, but this is a war, and even getting rid of all the big bads, there's still a whole bunch of small players that are still not, like, they're not super strong. And Naruto, as Jiraiya is like trying to like explain this to Naruto, he's like, so basically you just don't want me to go fighting the big, like the stronger ones yet. You'd rather just disable their entire military, or attempt to disable parts of their military, and Jiraiya was like, yeah, something like that, how a shinobi would normally do it. And like Naruto was like, I don't think, I thought there were multiple ways to be a shinobi, but apparently I was wrong. So here's what I'm gonna do. And Naruto picks up the map, and he's like, I'm gonna go find it. I'm gonna go wait here. I don't know what you guys are gonna be doing up until that time, but when she gets there, we're fighting. You can bring an army or not. I'm going, and no one's gonna stop me. And like Naruto transforms into his assault titan, and he starts running off in that direction. And like they're like, yo, we're not gonna stop him. And like Kakashi and Itachi basically tell him, like, y'all are the, like, y'all told him no. Like, we can't stop him. We can't, And Itachi basically just told him, like, I'm gonna go with him. And Kakashi, why not? So Kakashi and Itachi both go with Naruto. And when the rest of the Kage ended up getting back to the Leaf Village, I shouldn't even call it the Leaf Village. Realistically speaking, I should just call it the Stronghold. Because when you really think about it, if if two of the villages are destroyed and then the other, like, they're being used as refugees, and majority of the village has been turned into a military base, it really wouldn't be called a village anymore if you think about it. Like, it would more or less be called like the Leaf Fort. It would, Anyway, so yeah, Naruto ends up getting to it takes Naruto a little bit longer because, well, they were further away from the point than she was, but Naruto did eventually end up meeting her on the point. It took him a few days. By the time Naruto, Itachi, and Kakashi got there, the Leaf had already sent a force, and so did the Akatsuki catching wind, because the Leaf, although is, I could call them the allies I don't know. I could do a whole bunch of shit, but I'm not going to because this is already long. Anyway, so the other villages still have somewhat moles in them. Like, they've uprooted majority. So the Akatsuki members don't have all the intel, but they still have some people, so they can get like, oh, they're sending troops here. Like, you know, you might as well just send a force, you know. So when Naruto sees this Titan, he sees that she's this Titan. It's a decent sized Titan. She has red hair, interesting. And Itachi, you know, he's like, Naruto, I don't know, I don't think you noticed yet, but that's an Uzumaki. And Naruto, he was like, oh, that's interesting. But he doesn't want to waste any time on that. He jumps out, and the Titan, the female Titan, disappears and reappears, quite like she moves fast enough to get out of the way. And they start fighting, and everybody's watching. And then the two armies meet up, and now everybody is fighting. Literally everybody's fighting. And after a while, they start noticing that Naruto, although Naruto is physically stronger, she's more agile. So Naruto isn't necessarily winning this fight. But when Naruto transforms into his speed, like into his version of the female Titan, which is his assault Titan, just skinnier, he gets the upper hand, and then she ends up she transforms, and yeah, it goes from there. Long story short, Naruto ended up getting binded by her chakra chains. If you don't know who this is by now, I feel sorry for you. But she ends up binding Naruto with her chakra chains, and for like a brief minute, it genuinely looked like Naruto was going to lose. Like, she was going to bite into Naruto's neck and everything, but like a massive bolt of lightning just strikes the ground, right? And from this bolt of lightning, they see the female Titan, she's perfectly fine. So if it didn't disintegrate her, what happened? So Itachi's view kind of pans over to Naruto, and for all they've ever seen was his eyes turn somewhat silver, and that would be about it. But for this transformation, because Naruto was so banged up as it is, they were fighting. If you watch Attack on Titan, you know how brutal they could be. Anyway, so Naruto's, just paint a picture, Naruto's Titans, his hands, his fingertips were gone, and his a part of his jaw was broken off. Yeah, they messed each other up. So when Naruto's Titan form gets to standing back up, they noticing there's not a lot of flesh on Naruto's form. What's all that? I haven't seen that before. And the female Titan, she's standing there waiting, because she thought, Naruto didn't have any other transformations, and he wasn't using the Nine Tails transformation. So, they have some type of intel on Naruto. Not a lot, but some. If they had a lot, they would know that they'd be fucked. They're fucked right now, but that's not the point. Anyway, so Naruto stands up, and they notice a part of Naruto's his mouth all the way up to his nose on his Titan. Nothing but bone. Nothing but bone. And his hand, his fingertips, bone. His feet, his toes, bone. And for a moment, the assault Titan, the female, she's standing there, and Naruto has not made a move. So, she goes back in for the kill. She wraps him up with the chakra chains, but before the chakra chains even get actually around him enough to tighten, he vanishes. And for a brief moment, everybody sees Naruto behind this female Titan, except for her. So with one swift motion of his hand, so fast to the point where people like Kakashi couldn't even see it. It was fast enough for Kakashi not to be able to see it, but slow enough for Itachi to barely be able to see it. So as they're watching, Naruto, as Itachi is watching Naruto just disappear and reappear behind her, or just basically just move out the way. He moves out the way, gets behind her, and what Itachi saw was Naruto just raise up his hand and grab her completely out of the Titan. So after like Naruto grabs her out of the Titan form, she's just dangling there, and like she tries to retransform, but like every time she does it, Naruto like kind of starts trying to squeeze her head. So basically at this point she's realized if she tries to transform, Naruto would just kill her, you know. And at one point like she says like, why don't you just eat me, you know, just get it over with. And like Naruto still hasn't said anything, but his mouth opens, and she closes her eyes, and then the mouth closes, and like Naruto, cause he still has her in her hands, he shrugs his shoulders and he just flings her into the floor, and everybody in the just surrounding area, they see this massive dust cloud, and they're thinking, you know, she might have been able to transform. You know, no, it was just a pile. I'm not going to explain what the pile is, but at this point, you should know what that pile is. It's just a pile, and that's all I'm going to say. So after, you know, he leaves this pile on the floor, he starts walking back into the forest, and Itachi tries to get up onto Naruto's shoulder, but like, the closer he gets to Naruto, the colder he feels. Like, there's something there. So he gets up to Naruto's shoulder eventually Kakashi does get up there too. And after Naruto flung her into the ground, like the Akatsuki members, the Akatsuki army that was there basically scattered, and anybody that didn't scatter at the time was either captured or executed, like on the spot basically. Anyway, so Naruto gets back to the Leaf Village, or he appears on the horizon around like the Leaf Fort. I'm gonna call it the fort from now on. Fuck everyone else. Yeah. So he arrives at the horizon of the fort, and everybody's seeing this new Titan, this brand new Titan just walking over the horizon. So they're panicking. The alarms are sounding off. The few Titan shifters that they have, they transform into their decent Titans, but you know, and like Itachi basically he fires off a fireball off of Naruto's shoulder, basically just to let them know this is somebody, this is one of theirs, but they're just not sure what's going on. So, you know, eventually when they get close enough to the village, Itachi and Kakashi do jump off and, you know, get to the village before Naruto does to explain the situation. And how many Titan forms does he have? Like, what is this? And Itachi basically is explaining it's like, we don't know. He was winning, they were fighting. He started to lose. She almost got him. And then this happened. And now we just don't know what's going on. And the Titan gets, I'm going to say 50, just a few yards away from the Leaf Village. And it just stops moving. So as everybody's basically just kind of hanging on to the edge of the seats, trying to figure out what the hell is Naruto going to do. So, the Titan turns around. This is where I'm going to end this part off. If y'all enjoyed the video, drop a like. If y'all enjoyed my content, please subscribe. Anyway, this has been Shinobi.